All right, before takeoff check, we're in the run-up area, so first thing we're going to do is brake. Seatbelts are fastened, adjustable backrest. This plane has an adjustable backrest, so just make sure it's comfortable. And make sure, the most important thing is make sure it's secure. That latch has to be all the way flat, horizontal, or else that backrest could start to come back when you're doing single and stomping on the rudder. Rear door, closed and latched, checked. Front canopy, closed and latched. Baggage doors are closed. Door warning light is off. Circuit breakers, checked. All in. Check this. Yep. Electric elevator trim is, we use the electric trim here, and it works, and we get it set for takeoff. Looks good. Fuel selectors are double checked to be on. Rudder trim is neutral as required. Flaps. We normally do a clean takeoff for a normal takeoff. In this case, we're going to do a short field takeoff, so I'm going to put the flaps at approach. Flaps are in. Flight controls, check again. Free and correct. Power levers are at idle. MF, we're going to go to EIS system, and what we're looking for specifically here is that the gearbox temperature is at least 38 degrees. If it's not 38 degrees, like early this morning it was not when I flew, you'd have to bring the power up no more than 50%. Usually I just bring it to 40% and run up the engine until the gearbox gets to 38 degrees. But it's warm now, we're good, so we can go on with the rest of for the ECU test, what we do is voter switches. On the left one first, we'll go up to A, and I feel the shutter. So it was on B, and we just switched it to A. So now we're going to go to auto, and then down to B. And it's smooth, because we were on B, and now it's going back to auto. On auto all the time when we're flying. That way, if one fails, it automatically switches to the other. Jet engine, same thing. ECU A, auto, so it was on A, no shutter. Now B, you feel the shutter. So switch it to B, now back to auto, and it'll shutter because it's going back to A. There it is. So voter switch, and what we're doing now, we're just making sure that the engine runs smoothly as between ECUs. No, sputtering or significant
November 5,
increase in RPM.
Delta cleared 30.
So now we do the ECU test. So what we're doing here is we are pressing and holding these ECU buttons. You can do it both at the same time. That's the way I always do it. So we'll press and hold. Make sure you're holding the brakes. And as we do it, we're going to get 4 ECU fail cautions. The RPMs are going to run up to 1900.
Cross runway 26 up Juliet 2, continue via
and then they're going to come back down and then back up again. After it switches over to the other set of ECUs, it'll go back up again to 1900. Down a little bit, back up, and then it'll come all the way back down. Once all 4 of those ECU cautions are off, boom, take your fingers off the buttons, ECU test is complete. Heat as required, don't need any today. Transponder, we're 1200, that's good for us. Fuel pumps, we're going to go ahead and turn those on now. The fuel pumps, that turns on the second low pressure pump for redundancy in critical phases of flight, takeoff and landing, so we'll go ahead and turn them on now for takeoff. MFD, we'll go to default, so that's right there, hit the back button. So this is the way it's going to be for takeoff. And then parking brake released, so run up is complete. We always want to make sure we look at the available power check. So this chart here on page 10 to tell us what power, what load percentage we need to see when we're full brakes and at full throttle. Based on our temperature, 19 degrees C, we should see 97%. So we're going to do a static takeoff. Take 26 left when we're cleared, and we'll take the center line of the runway, make sure the nose is straight. Staying on the brakes, and we'll go to full power, and we're looking for 97%. We'll get 97%, we're going to abort. As long as we see 97 or better, we'll release the brakes and take off. This runway, 26 left, 3,800 feet long, so our accelerated stop distance is about 3,300 this morning, so plenty of room. In the event that we have any kind of a problem, any warning light, smoke fire from the engines, anything like that, once we're on the roll, we're going to abort. And if we have an engine failure, after we rotate and the gear is down, we're going to come down on the remaining runway. Gear down, going down. If our gear is up, we're going to just continue the climb out, and we'll make left traffic, and we'll probably come around and land 30 if we're single.
How high do you put up the gear?
And in this case, so it depends on, you don't want to pull the gear up until you're out of usable runway. No sooner than positive rate, no later than out of usable runway. So you have to think about your runway distance to know when to pull the gear up. Generally speaking, and we get into this in performance charts, I can show you the numbers, but if you have more than 5,000 feet of runway, then you pull the gear up at 50 feet AGL. In this case, we have a shorter runway, 3,800 feet. So I'm going to pull it up. We're going to be out of, we'll be a positive rate, and then we'll be pretty quickly out of usable runway. I'm going to pull the gear up pretty soon. All right, any questions?
Sounds good to me.